We are happy to announce that this episode of the SWW show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/?partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/?partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out. Started then. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of these interview episodes of the SWW show. I'm Mike, and today I have with me a special guest from not uber far away, just kind of straight south, a lot south, but straight south. To get us started, do you mind introducing yourself and the game we're here to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm Lucas. I'm from Brazil, and I'm developing Grand Gate. We started this project mixed with RPG mechanics, and I'm glad to be here.
Perfect, yeah. So yeah, we're here to talk about Grand Gate. As you said, it's a tower defense mixed with RPG mechanics. To get us kind of started, do you mind kind of talking about kind of either your background or kind of what made you kind of want to start working on this game?
hmm So, like, I was an intern at a factory because I was studying mechanical engineering, and COVID hit, and I started having more free time, you'd say, during my internship. So I was always a big fan of game development, I guess, but I had never tried it before. And during my bachelor's degree where I was studying, we had classes on 3D modeling, and I figured I'd start learning that. And I also figured like I need some place to use my models, so we some friends that I knew were also interested, so you could start making the game. And then we did a few prototypes just for learning. Then idea to start making a tower defense, which seemed simpler to develop as a first game. Let me tell you, what at all? Just spoiling.
I was gonna say you. It's the age-old thing of everyone's like, "I'll make a simple thing," and it's somehow
Yeah,
never simple. I don't care even if you have the right intentions, even if you have the technical expertise. Anything that we all start with, it'll be done in a month. Just mark it as 2 years.
Yeah.
Move on with life.
Yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't simple. But we went like back and forth many times with the design and what we wanted, and we settled like let's just build a complete game, like a full package, and let's like focus on the combat and focus on the level design, and let's just make like a great game as our first title, and polish it to hell. Like it's very different, perhaps, from what you hear from like your first project. Like people recommend it, just start it and just skip it. Like make her go to the next one. We just wanted to go and polish to the maximum we can. Like make a very good title.
No, that makes sense. I'm kind of curious, yeah, because that is kind of the antithesis of the advice, right? The advice that I was given, even the advice I'd probably give to people, right, is the make a bunch of small things, but at least make a thing where you are kind of focusing on this bigger project. I'm kind of curious as we'll kind of get into the technicals of the project. What always stands out to me is, especially making projects, is like you learn a bunch of lessons. How does that kind of change? Like, has that changed kind of the development throughout of it? Have you kind of even learned lessons and now you're like, well, now I know more for next time versus changes? Like, I'm kind of curious, kind of that
Yeah.
learning process.
So for learning process, like I said, like we have been developing this for almost 3 years now. Like the first year was really just not wait, on the first year, they aren't even in the game anymore because we just made it or just replace it altogether. Art included because we knew absolutely nothing on the first year. We just started with zero knowledge. So like basic learning. We started with Unreal, so a lot of techniques which we just try to learn, and we failed, and then we went again and just did it better. So they were replaced. So that's one type of lessons learned, which is just like we improve our skills, and the others which say which are saving for our next project, like better techniques, more field service content, which we just can't go back and fix everything in the game. That's like one point.
It has to be a point of almost internal contention or like frustration. Just because, yeah, like we had that problem too with projects I've worked on where we wanted to like we learned a bunch of stuff. And you're like, I kind of want to go back and just kind of refactor
Hmm.
a bunch of it or kind of change some systems. And you're
Hmm.
like, I really can't though because like this one system is like barely holding together, to communicate with the
Yeah,
other one, and if I touch anything, I know this entire thing will break.
yeah. There's that story on Team Fortress 2 that there's a like little PNG which is holding everything together. If the whole game starts I'll make it's an old story from the Valve guys, which I saw, which is sometimes is some of the more ancient stuff at the beginning for code. One of the lessons is obviously learning how to code better and to not make a lot of dependencies, which makes a lot of cleaner stuff. And then yeah, as you said, kind of frustrating that you can go back and fix everything. But I think we're doing okay for first title, I'd say. Like I have a lot of fun playing. We recently opened up our second playtest, and the people which I spoke to enjoyed it very much, which I'm very happy.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Let's I would say let's jump into mechanically. I think we've kind of talked around the
Mhm,
game. Let's jump into kind of as we talk about in the front end. It's a tower defense with an RPG mixture. What kind of as a player do you mind kind of talking through like we get dropped into a level kind of can we talk
mhm,
let's talk through the combat flow kind of where does the RPG points kind of
mhm,
come
mhm,
in what kind of makes it stand that's not just I'm not as a pejorative but like it's not just the tower defense kind of what can we
mhm,
talk about
mhm.
those differences a bit.
Yeah, started very on a very basic setup, like as a tower defense. We all played through the Warcraft 3 tower defense maps and all that stuff. But we wanted to give a more modern approach, and then we also looked at the tower defenses like Arc Knights, and very recently, like the Warcraft Ramble also gave us some inspirations actually. And then we have all this the basic setup of tower defense, which is like build your towers, don't let monsters get to the objective. You have your basic resource on your towers, okay. Then the RPG aspects come in. Uh, Upgrading your towers, like in the middle of the map, you can upgrade your towers to a very to a much more powerful tower. And there's on between towers that we have legends, which are basically like your super towers, like they're heroes and they have passive skills, abilities. So that's where the RPG starts showing. And you have also the other towers, which we call pawns. They are more specialized. Uh, So that's one part of the RPG. The other part, which you normally don't see in tower defenses, we split towers between melee and ranged. So the melee you can summon melee towers, and they can block enemies that are passing through the lane. So you basically have your tank units forcing enemies to stop and attack, and then you have the ranger to support them from the back line. And all the towers can also be hit. Like it's more of a, let's say, a traditional RPG combat. You just summon towers and they are fighting there. Like you have healers, you have DPS, and you have status effects like burning, stuns, slows. We brought that whole combat approach to a tower defense. That's what I want to say.
No, that makes sense. So I want to jump in. So you said there's the RPG stuff, and stood out to me was like kind of this like upgrading kind of, which is obviously the big part of
Mhm,
and kind of how it affects the towers. How
mhm,
kind of, well, I guess let me phrase it. What is the level a player can expect this to be like? What I would consider like a super in-depth RPG, and like they have
mhm,
to manage the resources versus like an RPG where like still watch your upgrades, but like there's some
mhm.
level of wiggle room, kind of what paths you go down.
So we have upgrades. It's not like super in depth like the upgrading part. We didn't think of side grades. It's called upgrades for a reason because it straight up powers up your tower, which is whatever they were doing when they were like the first version. They're much better at the second one, and that, like, we kept it simple because we gave complexity on other parts of the game. We have something in the works which we're gonna be able to equip items like TFT. If you ever played it, you basically have items dropping on the ground, and then you can equip your tower. So that's where most of the complexity of the game will lie. It is to find the good combination of items which you have. We also have more ways of getting items in combat, but I won't get in depth. But the complexity will lie in finding those combinations and knowing what your enemies will do, and the pathing and all that tower defense stuff. Uh, Resource management, it is mostly static, as in you have your defined resource generation, and you get some extra from killing enemies, but it's really there to just let's say control the flow of the match, so you don't drop like a whole army in 2 minutes of the match. So it's gonna spread out the towers and the all the items you're gonna get throughout, and we hopefully will make a very cool and dynamic.
Oh, that
Answers our question.
yeah, no, that answers my question. I would like to jump in. I know you said something about like items and kind of like stuff
Mhm,
you can equip. I'm kind of
mhm,
curious if you don't mind either talking about like either one or two types of things you can equip, or if there's any ones that stand out to you. Kind of, I'll kind of explain that mechanic.
mhm, mhm. We're still making info items, like they increase a lot of your damage, and there are items which you could think like a legendary from Diablo or exotic, like radically alter what your tower does. Like I have this example on top of my head, which we have an item called the Black Plague, which whenever you apply bleeding to an enemy, this bleed will jump to nearby enemies, so you're gonna start doing a lot of area damage. So it gets very in depth. So that's why I said that the others was intentionally kept more controlled, so you could have the time to process all that stuff in a tower defense.
No, that's interesting. I guess I didn't ask too. How long kind of like levels generally kind of last for like in a mission or for a player kind of
Mhm.
battle?
we're aiming for them to last between 10 to 15 minutes. It's more like that. And we took a, let's call it, I don't know, like a Nintendo approach to level design, which we have our regions. There's a forest and there's the mines and there's the beach, and each region has a unique mechanic on top. And the mines we have like explosive barrels and a bomb which works like Bomberman. It explodes in cross shapes. It's very cool. Hopefully you see it. Uh, but it's between 10 and 15 minutes.
No, that's it's 10 15 minutes. Is there any concern on that length? Because that to me, like, reads fine, but also in the moment can feel decently long on that missions. I'm assuming that, like, players
Hmm.
have had decent feedback on it to that length.
And there's even no items at all. Like, and we have like a longer test, and it's which was around 12 minutes if I'm not mistaken. And it's actually been one of the favorite levels. And there's like no items at the moment and all that stuff. And because I like push the waves a lot and there's a lot of pressure coming from the enemies. So I think the secret lies in not making it like just a waiting time. You gotta put pressure on all the lanes non-stop. So but there's absolutely a concern on length because it can get kind of boring or maybe too overwhelming if a level lasts like 20 minutes.
God, if
Maybe
it's 20
it's
minutes and like the entire time you're like struggling, yeah,
y-
I could see where
yeah.
there's an ebb and flow you almost kind of need in each level of like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm great. Oh no, this is horrible. Oh, I'm great, and that's the thing you have to find the
Yeah,
balance
exactly.
of it.
And like it's hard to make a 20 minutes level as well, like very hard.
No, that is rough. Yeah, 20 minutes to players on the outside doesn't seem that long. To us creating
Mhm.
content, you're like, once you realize how long 20 minutes actually is, you're like, how does anyone create anything?
Yeah, it's like an enormous, I can tell it's an enormous enemies spawns and tiny and etc. It's like very hard to make those levels, but I want to make more a few longer levels as well because I want to try it out at first. So we're still learning a lot, uh, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which naturally learning a lot kind of makes a bunch of sense kind of there. Your levels, though, I gotta say, for being that long, don't feel that big, like physically. How did you guys kind of think of that kind of problem of like, hey, like we're gonna have these longer ish levels, but like physical space is only so much, kind of like kind of curious, kind
Uh-huh.
of where that thought process was, and kind of if there's any room in the future to play with this level scaling.
Mhm. Like there's we haven't done so far, but you can be sure the final game we're gonna have a few experiments kill on the enemies. It's a bit longer than usual. We don't have a we generally don't have a lot of enemies on screen, but they take longer to kill because it's how best the combat works. And like let's say like the stronger enemies, they are balanced that many towers are attacking it to kill. Like the weaker enemies can be solved from using a pawns, which is like the weaker towers. But then the stronger ones really start requiring all that synergy, which in like armor reduction debuffs, burning status effects, using your skills, and all that stuff. Like it's really balanced so that the game is a bit. Uh, like you have enough time to process, and that's when I say like it's not super fast as well, and that's another concern for me as well, that I don't want to overwhelm the player with stuff going on screen, but it's very tough to balance that.
That is not an easy balance in the slightest. No, like cause yeah, cause even like you have kind of have the double edge of like there's a resource limitation obviously in both kind of making stuff and running
Mhm,
stuff at one time, and then there's also the like just making sure it's still fun even when you're kind of dealing with all these experiments
mhm.
and testing. God, as we're talking, the game is Grand Gate. Currently on your Steam page, it says it's out in 24. Is that still kind of the plan?
Yep, yeah, absolutely planned.
So the game will be coming out in at some point next year. What kind of
Hmm.
can people expect? Kind of is it? Are you launching into early access? Are you launching into a full release? Kind of
Oh,
what is the plan that the consumer can
mhm.
expect? You want to talk about?
Like a complete product. We're most likely going to have the full campaign and a hard, so, kind of like a new game plus actually. And there's um, correct the right number there, and we have 6 regions in total to play, which I said have all unique mechanics and unique visuals, obviously. And but the plan is to release it like a let's call it an OG product, which you get everything what you pay for. And there's no extra catches there. And hopefully, if we have enough support, we'll do more maps, more towers. And in the future, we're also aiming for a console release.
Okay, so the plan is kind of next year we start on PC, kind of see the feedback and the response, and then kind of work towards consoles the next steps. Perfect.
Hmm.
Do you have?
Exactly.
And I understand currencies are really fun. Do you have a rough estimate of what you're thinking for that price point, or is that still kind of being determined?
We're still determining it,
Okay,
but you can expect it in the range.
the usual. I know for you guys, there's a lot of weird stuff with importing, but yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I want to say thank you again for talking to me today about the game is Grand Gate. It comes out next year. Please go on to Steam and wishlist it. There's also some playtests going on and off once in a while too, so keep an eye out for that stuff. Before we go, is there? I will leave the floor to you if there's anything that you feel we have not touched on in the experience or any other spot you wish to be sending people to go check things out.
Hmm. Check Grand Gate out. As I said, we're very welcome to feedback, as it started all as a learning project for us. It became serious a bit later. Uh, Please come and try and comment, like we're all ears, and we just want to make like the best possible game, and we try to innovate in the tower defense, like re- really we just want to make the very best possible game. Thank you.
Perfect. Again, I want to say thank you for the great time today. And everyone, go wishlist, go keep an eye out. Grand Gate will be coming out on a PC near you soonish. So, again, thank you for your time today. And best of luck as you're kind of working to do in development and kind of getting towards that final stretch.
Thank you.
The SWW show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW show on social media at the SWW show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.